How we doing, everybody, and welcome to Wisconsin Sports on the Go with Trage. I'm your host, Trage. Today it is Wednesday in the great state of Wisconsin. We have a lot going on tonight. We're going to have a little bit of Bucks basketball. We're going to have the Badgers in action. So a big night for basketball there in the state of Wisconsin. But with that, no Austin today, just me for you. Today, we're looking at the Badger pregame there, going up against SMU there in the championship of the Fort Myers tip-off. Also looking at a little bit of Bucks preview. They got the Celtics coming up here tonight. Also looking at a little bit of Packers and then doubling down with the Badgers and getting into the NFL scoreboard there a little bit. So right away, jumping into the Bucks. Bucks 6:30 tonight on ESPN. They have the Celtics playing at TD Garden there in Boston. Bucks coming into this one, they're hot right now. Winners of five straight, actually, coming into this one after that win against the Wizards last night. Winners of 5 straight. Offense been clicking there. 118 against Chicago there. Otherwise, it's been just about 130 and above for the Bucks right now. Defense has been picking up a little bit, so that is good to see out of the Bucks. Celtics coming in this one, coming off a loss there against Charlotte in overtime there, a 121-118 loss in overtime to Charlotte. So Celtics coming in off of a loss, Bucks coming in off of on a 5-game win streak. Before that, though, Celtics were hot there through a 4-game win streak. So this should be a good matchup here. Looks like for the Bucks, Damian Lillard is game time decision right now. Beach Camp game time decision, and Chris Livingston all game time decisions. For the Celtics, looks like they have everybody healthy and ready to rock. So this should be a big matchup here. Tatum paces the way for this Celtics team's 28 points a game right now on 50% shooting for Tatum. Also leading them in rebounds, 9 rebounds per game right now. Drew Holiday, 5 assists per game for this Celtics team. It's going to be interesting seeing Drew Holiday on the flip side playing for the Celtics up against the Bucks in this one. Should be a pretty good game. Tatum's coming off a 45-point outing in his last one. Giannis coming off a pretty high-scoring game himself. So pretty good matchup there. For the Bucks, Giannis leads in rebounds and scoring right now, 30 points per game, 60% shooting, 62% shooting right now, and also 10 rebounds per game. And Dame leads them in assists right now, 6.3. So should be a good matchup there. Looks like ESPN has the predictor right now. They have the Celtics winning this game against the Bucks. But I think it's going to be a little bit closer than the 61-38 margin. I think this is a 50-50 game right here. Should be a favorable matchup for I hope it's a favorable matchup for the Bucks in this one. Should be a good matchup. That is for darn sure there. 6:30 start on ESPN from TD Garden. They're a road game for the Bucks after playing a couple. They're on a road trip right now. Had the Wizards on the road. Now they play the Celtics. You know, you get some of them road trips. Celtics finally coming back home after a 4-game road trip there. So pretty good matchup there between the Bucks and Celtics. But with that, let's jump over into the Badgers. Badgers taking on SMU. SMU won the opposite side of that Fort Myers tip-off game. They beat West Virginia 70-58. A pretty good game there between West Virginia and SMU. Looking at this one, just looking at SMU a little bit here, looking at the stats right now, they haven't really had a lot of big contests yet. Played Southwestern Assemblies of God, Western Illinois, Lamar. They did play number 13 Texas A&M, lost that one by 13, and then played West Virginia leading up into this one. So tested a little bit there against Texas A&M, played a decent game against them, but won that game against West Virginia to move into this championship game against Wisconsin here. Looking at SMU here, it looks like Phelps, Zerk Phelps, guard, he leads them in scoring, 14.2 per game right now, 27 minutes. He's got about 5 rebounds per game there. Chuck Harris, he's got about 13 points per game on 30 minutes. Chuck Harris is, I would say, between the two, the guy to watch out there for. Chuck Harris can get hot and he can knock it down. Looking at his 3-point percentage right now, 45% from downtown. Looking down the line here, a couple of the bigs for him. Hilton and Smith both averaging about 8 points per game right now, getting on the boards there, averaging about 5 to 6 rebounds per game for the both of them right now. This SMU team, they're going to look to get out and run against Wisconsin. That is definitely going to be their MO in this one, trying to speed up Wisconsin. The height advantage won't be as big for Wisconsin in this one. They looking at this roster for SMU, Xavier Foster, he's sitting at about 7 foot right now. Doesn't really play for him, but he's definitely in the back pocket there. Looking at some of the other guys here, they go with a relatively small lineup. Hilton is 6'9" for him there. And then, looking down the line here to find my other forward for him here, Tyreek Smith. He's sitting at about 6'8". So they don't have a lot of height that they go with right away in that starting rotation for them. So the Badgers, again, will have the size advantage in this one. Hopefully, coming off that Virginia game where they really utilized Stephen Crowell and Tyler Wall down there in the post. Hopefully in this one, we see a lot of that again from this Badger team. I thought that was dynamic, what we saw from Stephen Crowell in that game, especially when the double team came. He was able to move the ball around the perimeter then. I thought that was great to see. I think the Badgers will need a lot more of that in this ball game here. SMU, looking statistically right now at their three-point percentage, they're averaging about 31% from downtown. So not an over-the-top three-point shooting team. Also 42% from field goal percentage. They're about 42% right now. So not really dynamic all the way around shooting the basketball. They're going to look to get out and run on you and make you make mistakes. That's going to be the big thing Wisconsin has to avoid in this one. Averaging about 10 turnovers per game right now, but also averaging about 10 steals as a team per game. So you take your wins with your losses there. Rebounding, they have about 43 rebounds per game right now. So pretty good rebounding stats by this relatively smaller lineup. So they like to move the ball, like to get in the paint, and they like to collect the rebounds when they're available there. So definitely something Wisconsin has to be aware of. And I think what Wisconsin did against Virginia slowed it down, didn't try to get out of tempo. When they had the chance, they ran with it, but otherwise played their game. And I think against SMU, you have to do the same thing. You got to play your game. Don't try to speed up too much. Play that tempo offense that Wisconsin's known for, and I think Wisconsin will be fine in this one. Just like against Virginia, played the tempo, played your speed, played your offense, had everything working, and we saw the result there. Same thing in this one. Don't try to do what SMU wants you to do, and that's speed up. You're going to end up turning the ball over. Turnovers will be crucial in this one. Wisconsin has to avoid it. Also, free throws will be big in this one. Being a smaller lineup from SMU, I could see a lot of fouls in this one, especially against the bigs with Crowell, Tyler Wall, even Gilmore getting in there, AJ Storr down in the post. The Badgers have to convert free throws in this ball game. I think that's going to be another key factor for Wisconsin, and also the perimeter shots. Wisconsin played a lot better against Virginia, hit a lot more of those outside shots, more than I expected Wisconsin to come back with against Virginia, especially a stingy defense like Virginia. So coming into this one, Wisconsin needs to definitely try and work the perimeter again, flow with the offense, and get into those shots. I think that's going to be the big thing, is that not forcing those threes, getting into your sets and letting it all work itself out in that direction. Because right now, Wisconsin is best when they run that offense, when they swing it around the perimeter, when they can get kickouts from the post, and when they can get into that shot, when they can step into the shot, not forcing it, not trying to create the shot. Wisconsin doesn't have a lot of shot creators on this team. I think Blackwell can create a shot. I think AJ Storr can definitely create a shot. I really do think Chucky can create a shot. I think Chucky's just been a little bit more as a facilitator right now, more or less, than a shooter right now for Wisconsin. So I think Chucky, we saw Klesman in that last game against Virginia creating his own shot. So Wisconsin has shot creators, but I do think that they're better stepping into their shot. They're better position shooters, and I think that is where Wisconsin needs to really emphasize in this ball game against SMU, sticking with that, not trying to do too much, and running through the offense that way. So Badgers, SMU should be a good one. 7:30 start there on FS1. Looking at it from the wide spectrum, this could be a big matchup for Wisconsin, especially resume-wise. You just got to win against Virginia, number 24 Virginia. This is a 4-1 SMU team. This is a team that could potentially be in March Madness. So getting a win here against SMU could be a massive thing for Wisconsin, especially the gauntlet of a schedule they have coming up here. After this one, they're going to be taking on. Oh, I just lost the schedule here. After SMU, they're going to have Western Illinois, but then they're going to take on Marquette, Michigan State, and Arizona. 3 straight games there. That is a gauntlet of a schedule. You play on December 2nd, then you have December 5th against Michigan State, then December 9th against Arizona. So there's no break in there. You're going to get 2 of the top 10 teams in the country as of right now with Marquette and Arizona, and then you have number 21 Michigan State there, and you play 2 games on the road there at Michigan State, at Arizona. So that's a tough road trip right there. Badgers definitely need this game against SMU. They need that game against West Illinois leading up into this Marquette matchup. It's going to be a heavyweight matchup when they face Marquette. A lot of people are writing Wisconsin off as a contender or anything else right now. I really, when I look at this Wisconsin team, I see a high leverage contender. I mean, you have all the makings for it. You have the big guy who can step out and hit the tree and is pretty good in the post there with Steven Crowl. You have a dynamic guard in Chucky. As much as people want to hate Chucky, he is definitely a very good ball handler, a very good facilitator. And if his shot starts to get consistent, Chucky is a dynamic force. Klesman, if he comes along, you have a guy in Klesman who can hit those shots for you and is also stingy on the defensive end. AJ Storr, that's your athleticism. That's your guy. AJ Storr is a dynamic all-around player. He can hit it from downtown. He can drive the lane. He can throw it. He can throw the hammer down when he has to, and he has got some sweet post moves. So that brings in AJ Storr. Tyler Wall, as much as people want to hate on Tyler Wall, he is a dynamic post player. And if he can put it together, Tyler Wall has the makings to lead the Badgers pretty darn far here. Coming off the bench there, John Blackwell is coming into his own. That is a pretty good freshman right now with Wisconsin and John Blackwell. Nolan Winter has the makings to be a pretty good big man for Wisconsin coming off the bench there. McGee is a pretty good backup point guard coming off the bench, and you still have Connor Essegian on that bench for Wisconsin. And we saw what Connor can do when he gets hot. Like last year, we saw what Connor can do. He gets healthy, gets in rhythm, another piece for Wisconsin. And that's not even going as deep as what Wisconsin can on the bench. You still have Marcus Silvers. He can be a scorer for this Badger team. Also looking at other guys on the bench there, Isaac Lindsley. We saw some games last year where Isaac Lindsley was a spark plug for the Badgers at moments. Against Purdue, he had a couple of big shots. So this Badger team has the pieces to be a pretty big force, and I think this SMU game, got to have it. Western Illinois there, got to have that one. And I think that leads into a heavyweight battle with Marquette. I think the Badgers, Marquette's got, if you had to look at athleticism to athleticism, Marquette wins the battle. But I think Wisconsin, like they did last year, can slow it down, can control the tempo, can force bad shots out of Marquette. And I think that could benefit them in this one. And I think these games leading up into it, I think the Badgers really have to emphasize those points to try and get themselves ready for that Marquette, Michigan State, and Arizona game that are on the docket here coming up. So with that, that is about all I have for the Badgers here, looking at that SMU game. Big game, 7:30 start there on FS1. So hopefully, if you got it, check it out there. It should be a fun matchup, and hopefully we see the Badgers bring home another holiday tournament championship. That would be awesome to see. But with that, I want to jump over into the Packers just a little bit here. Looking at the Packers, it looks like Aaron Jones, not his ACL. He said it's good there. Right now, it looks like, from what I saw, he has an MCL sprain listed as day-to-day right now, so not good news on that front for the Packers with Aaron Jones. Likely, probably not going to see him on Thursday, but potentially back in the coming weeks. So that is the good sign. It could have been a lot worse. It could have been a lot worse for Aaron Jones. So that's good to see in that front. Also, we talked about Patrick Taylor being signed back to the roster there. I don't recall, but I'm pretty sure. Let me just double check here. But I'm pretty sure James Robinson was also signed back to the roster here. Just wanted, yep. James Robinson was also signed back to the Packers. So Packers getting James Robinson up into the running back room after the news of Aaron Jones came out. Also having Emmanuel Wilson on the shelf for a while here. Looks like it was his shoulder, is some shoulder issue there with Emmanuel Wilson. Definitely didn't look like it at the time. I thought it had something, it was completely different, got taken off on the cart. So I figured something completely different with Emmanuel Wilson. Turns out just a shoulder issue. So James Robinson will be up with the Packers. Maybe we see some big things out of James Robinson. That could be interesting to see there. Looking at a couple other things I just wanted to look at. The injury report here as of yesterday. Jair Alexander was limited participation. Ballantyne was full participation there. Devondre Campbell did not participate there with a neck injury. Kenny Clark limited. DeGuara, I don't even understand why DeGuara is still on the roster, but that's a story for another day because right now DeGuara is just a waste of cap space and a waste of roster space. So that's my opinion on DeGuara, but apparently he got onto a list finally. With his hip injury, I don't know what he did, but his hip is apparently hurting him. AJ Dillon right now with groin, he was limited. Rudy was limited, and so was Rashawn Gary. Oh no, Rashawn Gary was actually full participation. So good to see Rashawn Gary getting back out there. Elton Jenkins was limited. Aaron Jones and Luke Musgrave both did not participate in Monday or Tuesday. It looks like Luke Musgrave has an abdomen issue right now, and he did not participate. Keyshawn Nixon with the ankle right now was limited. Jaden Reed was limited with a chest injury. Darnell Savage looks like he was limited there. Christian Watson with a shoulder, he was full participation. Dontavian Wicks did not participate. Concussion knee is his injury right now, so hopefully Wicks is ready to go there on Thursday. And also looking at Emmanuel Wilson, did not participate with that shoulder. Looks like Wilson will be out for a little while. So on the injury front there, some worries. A lot of guys on the injury report, but it seems like we always see a lot of guys on the injury report for the Packers leading up into these ones, and then we see them out there on Sunday. So hopefully just little, limited participations. We're okay in that front, and hopefully to see some of these guys come back, especially like Jair, and to get hopefully see Campbell out there. We never really see Campbell and Quay Walker on the field at the same time. So hopefully get Campbell back there. Also looking at the offensive line there with Jenkins. Hopefully Elton Jenkins is ready to rock and roll. And like I was talking, hopefully this running back room with James Robinson and Patrick Taylor, hopefully those guys can pick up the slack there that will be left after losing Emmanuel Wilson and Aaron Jones. AJ Dillon looks like he is running back one right now. Hopefully Robinson can pick up some of that speed there, and also Taylor in the backfield. But with that, just wanted to look a little bit. I've seen a lot of people talking about, especially after last night's game, they were talking about MVS and his drop there late in that game with the Chiefs. And, they said some guys came out and they were talking about last season with Green Bay. He had 8 drop balls. Hasn't changed much. I was really thinking about it. Do you know that he had 6 catches in the, I believe it was the AFC Championship game for the Chiefs there to get them to the Super Bowl. He had a touchdown catch there. They don't make the Super Bowl without MVS. So MVS, we always ridicule and we try to defend the Packers front office from making moves when they do, because when a guy makes a mistake somewhere else, it's like, oh, good thing we got rid of him. Good thing we got rid of him. But, at the same time, we don't really say when, MVS was helping the Chiefs get to the Super Bowl, you didn't hear anybody saying, oh, well, crap, it was terrible that the Packers got rid of MVS. Why'd they get rid of MVS? He's helping the Chiefs get to a Super Bowl now. And right now we're sitting at home doing nothing. That's where, it just, sometimes people just make me laugh because they don't look at, they always try to defend. They try to defend these guys. It's like, everybody when Jordan Love has a bad game and everybody has to try and defend him, or they compare stats back to Aaron Rodgers. My favorite thing is when they compare stats back to Aaron Rodgers, when they compare stats back to Brett Favre. That's my favorite thing, is when people have to go and compare stats, because that's what they have to do to try to make themselves feel better, because they want all this support for this guy. They can't see the facts. Right now, I did see a lot of people talking about Jordan Love, and they said Jordan Love has, I believe he has the most 30 plus yard completions on the season. I'm pretty sure he has like 18, if I'm not mistaken there. Um, but when I look at those completions, I talked about it yesterday, and it's not the completions that worry me. He can complete a pass down the field. It's where he's completing that pass. It's when a guy has to reach back and catch that ball. It's not led. When a guy has to go back into a defender to try to catch that ball, instead of being able to break off, a 70-yard play because we let him in stride there. It's like the receivers, he throws it and the receivers are too fast to catch the ball. I mean, if the receivers are this fast, lead them a little bit more. That's where I'm at right now is, and I understand, easier said than done. It's not like you can just, I could go out there and do it for him. I don't think I could, but I'm just saying that when you look at it, what I expect and what I hope to see is, you look at that ball that MVS dropped last night from Patrick Mahomes, and Mahomes led him perfectly. It was in MVS's hands. He just dropped it. But that was it was a pretty, if it wasn't perfect, it was great. It was a great pass. And that's what I mean is that I don't see that out of Jordan Love. I don't see that deep ball throw out of Jordan Love where it's like, whoa. And the thing with it is, and I was listening to Bill Michaels was talking about it, and I thought the same thing too. I was, thinking about, Jordan Love and what I was talking about yesterday. And it's lacking the wow factor. When you look at quarterbacks throughout the league, Jalen Hurts, looking at guys like Patrick Mahomes, Joe Burrow, Justin Herbert, Trevor Lawrence, CJ Stroud, definitely. You look at those guys and, if you watch them play, you can sit there and you can say to yourself, wow. There is one point in that game where he will make a throw. One of them guys will make a throw. And you will say, wow, whoa, where did that come from? That was a heck of a throw. I mean, that was putting it right on the button. I mean, that was just a dynamic play by that quarterback, whoever it was. I have not had that with Jordan Love yet. If you can tell me that you've had a wow moment with Jordan Love, I'd love to hear when that was, because I haven't seen it. I haven't had that wow moment. I mean, in their dominant week 1 win against the Bears, I didn't have that wow moment. And then even in these throws, in these past couple games here, I haven't had a wow moment with Jordan Love. Maybe the back corner of the end zone past the Dobbs, but that wasn't a wow moment. That was that's what you get paid to do, is make that throw. The difference between the Hall of Fame quarterbacks, the great quarterbacks, the good quarterbacks, and the below average quarterbacks is the Hall of Fame quarterbacks make you sit there and go, whoa, what did I just see? When a guy is falling to the ground and makes a throw, when a guy can make that shovel pass, it just is like, wow. When a guy can hit somebody in stride over the top or put that ball into the corner of the end zone where nobody but his receiver can catch it, that's when you go, wow. That's a Hall of Fame quarterback. That's a great quarterback. When you get down into the good and the below average quarterbacks, or average then below average, wherever you want to rank it, you're looking at guys who make the throws, but they're your standard throws. We look at Jordan Love's stats and we see a lot of yards after the catch from these receivers. We see a lot of dump passes. We see a lot of balls that are under, and you can look at all these throws for me if you want and try to fact check me, but a lot of these deep balls are underthrown. And you're going to underthrow some. You're going to underthrow some. But a majority are underthrown by Jordan Love. And that's my issue. That's my problem, is when you throw behind guys, now they have to reach back. Now they have to try and fight for that 50-50 ball. There's some times where, we ridicule these receivers for not fighting for 50-50 balls, when in all reality, if the ball was led a little bit, if it was thrown to the corner of the end zone besides into the center, if it was thrown over the top, these guys don't have to fight for it. But right now, you watch these receivers for the Packers and they constantly have to fight for the ball because it's chucked straight up there. It's behind them by 5 yards. Now they have to double back. Now they have to go up and try to catch it before they want to. And now they can't get the yards after the catch because they're reaching back for it. So that's where I'm at right now with the whole Jordan Love situation, is that we really have to put into perspective, he leads the league in 30 plus yards completions. Yeah, he does. He definitely does. And, that's Okay, that is definitely great to hear that he's leading in one statistical category, but there's a lot of categories he's not leading in. And when I look at the categories that are important, with the quarterback room, that's what separates out the above average and the average and below average guys in the league. And right now, I just don't think Jordan Love mixes with the top half. I really don't. I mean, I saw a comparison today. Somebody compared Jalen Hurts to Jordan Love, and they said that um, Jalen Hurts is the MVP favorite, 15 touchdowns, 9 interceptions. Looking at Jordan Love, 16 touchdowns, 10 interceptions. Both of them about 2,500 yards passing. Okay, but when you look at MVP, what does MVP mean? That means that you don't see many MVPs come off of losing teams. You don't see many guys on losing teams get that MVP award. You were the guy on your team that was this, basically the guy. Patrick Mahomes, the guy on the Chiefs. If that system's going to work, Patrick Mahomes is going to make it work. Joe Burrow, when he's healthy, that's what makes the Cincinnati Bengals go. You can tell the guys system by system that are the reasons why it works. Jordan Love's not the reason. I think I could throw Sean Clifford in there, and I think I could get some of the same throws that I'm getting out of Jordan Love. If I had to really look at an MVP, guys that I think the Packers can't really live without, Aaron Jones. I don't think the Packers can live without Aaron Jones. Right now, Jaden Reed. I don't think the Packers can live without Jaden Reed out there on the field. Looking over on the defensive side, I think when the Packers are honestly missing Rashawn Gary or Devondre Campbell or a guy like Quay Walker, I think all those guys are missed. But I don't, when I think of MVP, like you look at defensive guys, the Cleveland Browns, Myles Garrett, he could be an MVP. He won't win the MVP because he's not a quarterback. It's definitely a quarterback-driven award. But that's where I'm at right now is that people are like constantly looking for ways to compare Jordan Love to some of the better quarterbacks in the league. I mean, just this one right here. Patrick Mahomes, 18 touchdowns, 11 turnovers this year. Josh Allen, 29 touchdowns, 15 turnovers. I look at those guys in a different spectrum. I really do because, in these games that Josh Allen's in, that Patrick Mahomes in, I believe that those guys are the dynamic piece that makes the system work. I don't think Jordan Love is the piece that makes the system work right now. I think he's a placeholder as of right now. I don't think he goes above and beyond. I think we're seeing improvement out of Jordan Love, but I just don't think that he is all around, comparable to guys like Mahomes, Josh Allen, and Jalen Hurts. And if you want to sit there and keep comparing them, you can keep comparing them back to Aaron Rodgers in his first year in the league or Brett Favre in his first year. Heck, you can go all the way back and compare him to Bart Starr in his first year in the league. But it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. What matters is what we see skill-wise. I don't care stats. Stats are stats. You have to look at the skill that the quarterback brings to the room. And so, if you're recruiting a guy for a college team, you're not, you can look at it and say, okay, he threw for 8,000 yards and he had 25 touchdowns and he only threw 2 interceptions. And wow, he is fantastic over these years here at whatever high school he's at. But at the end of the day, does he have the skill to transition to the next level? I did not believe Jordan Love had the skill from college to the NFL to really put himself on a different level in the NFL. And it's proving right now. I really don't think as of right now, he has the skill to compete at the level with the big dogs, with Joe Burrow, with Patrick Mahomes. If you put those guys, and that's the thing. If you put Jalen Hurts and Jordan Love in a game against each other, Jalen Hurts will have the better game. I would even put it as far as if you flipped the teams, if you flipped quarterbacks, I still think that Jordan Love would not do as well as what Jalen Hurts would do. I don't believe that if you put Patrick Mahomes on the Packers right now, that Jordan Love onto the Chiefs, that Jordan Love would do better in Patrick Mahomes' shoes there in Kansas City, and Patrick Mahomes would look a heck of a lot better with the Green Bay Packers. Josh Allen, same difference. That's the thing, is that if you flip these quarterbacks around, I mean, right now, honestly, if you could say to yourself, right now, looking at the stats, I'd rather have Jordan Love than Jalen Hurts. Okay, I've seen Jalen Hurts win. I haven't seen Jordan Love. You can honestly say to yourself right now, I'd rather have Jordan Love over Josh Allen. If I'd rather have Jordan Love over Patrick Mahomes, I'd call you crazy. I'd say, what are you smoking? What are you on? Because you need to share it with the rest of us. Because right now, Jordan Love has a lot more to prove before anybody can just sit there and they can try and compare until they're blue in the face, but it still doesn't prove anything. We have to see it on the field. We have to see it in the skill. We have to see it by winning. We have to see putting together game-winning drives for this Packers team. We saw it. They said a lot of games, they've been in them. They've been in a lot of games, haven't been able to win them at the end there. You know, you look at that Chargers game, they were able to win a game-winning drive. They haven't been able to do that before. You know, you look at the Steelers, look at a couple of different games there where the Packers were in them and they had the ball. They just turned the ball over late. They weren't able to put together that game-winning drive. That's what I have to see. I have to see this guy be able to make plays when it's needed most. When the pressure's on, can Jordan Love make the plays? That's what's going to be the big thing. The Detroit Lions are coming up on Thanksgiving. You know the Detroit Lions are going to be bringing it. Can Jordan Love and this Packers team bring it right back? Can Jordan Love stack up with Jared Goff and this Detroit Lions offense? Can they go one-on-one? That's what I want to see out of Jordan Love. You get in a duel, can you back yourself in that duel? Do you have what it takes to stand up to a pretty good Lions defense? So that's where I'm at right now with the Packers. We're going to jump over quick. That ran a little bit long there, talking about all of that. We're going to jump over into, just want to check out the NFL last weekend's schedule there, just cover the scores from this past weekend. This past week, we had the Ravens beat the Bengals, lost Joe Burrow again to an injury. Not looking good. Hopefully, the Bengals can hang around until Joe gets back, and then maybe they could put it in the postseason. But it's looking grim for the Bengals right now. Browns got a 13-10 win over the Steelers. Kenny Pickett needs to get out of Pittsburgh. Mike Tomlin needs to get rid of him. I just don't like Kenny Pickett there with Steelers. They don't have a lot going on. They have pretty good defense, but the offense is zero help to them. I mean, you give up 13 points to the Browns, who are also playing a backup quarterback, but at the same time, 13 points, you're starting your starting quarterback, and yet you still can't beat it. That's a problem. Lions, huge comeback versus the Bears there, 31-26. Kept that NFC North lead there up, got it up a little bit more there. Packers with the win over the Chargers, like we were talking about, 23-20. Dolphins 20-13 over the Raiders. Love what the Raiders have been doing as of late. They're starting to build something there in Las Vegas. So good to see they're out of the Raiders, but the Dolphins get the win there. Giants pull off a surprising win against the Commanders. Picked off. Howell throws 3 interceptions in that one. Got picked off late there for a pick 6. Giants pull it off and screw me in the Pick'em League. I had the Commanders winning that one. Lost me 11 points right there. So Giants, big win there against the Commanders. Hopefully put them in the right direction moving forward. Cowboys, big win over the Panthers, 33-10. Jaguars, 34-14 over the Titans. Texans, 21-16 over the Cardinals. CJ Stroud, pretty good performance once again, 336, 2 touchdowns. Did have 3 interceptions in that one, so a little bit more prone to throwing the pick there in that one. But, you know, rookie, gonna make mistakes. Texans pulled it out, though. That's what matters. Texans, they could be a scary team for a lot of these pretty good, these top seed teams in the AFC come playoff times. Texans are a sneaky team right now, especially with the play of CJ Stroud and also Devin Singletary there in the backfield. And Tank Dell there at wide receiver is impressive. Texans definitely have something cooking there in Houston. 49ers get the win over the Buccaneers, 27-14. Bills with a 32-6 win over the Jets. Bills, that's what we needed to see. 275, 3 touchdowns out of Josh Allen, letting him run the ball a little bit more. That's what we wanted to see out of this Bills team. Rams get the 17-16 win over the Seahawks. Jason Myers missed the late field goal there in that one. That would have won it for the Seahawks. Seahawks sadly lose to the Rams there. Broncos 21-20 over the Vikings. Wow. Broncos, they're putting something. They're doing something. They're doing just enough to win ball games right now. Russell Wilson playing A-OK for him. Led a go-ahead touchdown drive there for him. Hit Cortland Sutton in the back of the end zone there. That was a pretty great throw from Russell Wilson, pretty great catch from Cortland Sutton. So I did. It was the Vikings and the Commanders. Both screwed me in the Pick'em League. I was perfect all the way up until those two games, and those two screwed me out of some major points right there. Eagles get the big Monday Night Football win over the Chiefs. Wow. Taylor Swift's mom and dad must be depressed after going to watch Travis play in this one, and the Chiefs just can't pull it out. Like we were talking earlier, a missed play by Valdez-Scantling there deep, couldn't haul it in, and that was a big deciding factor there. That could have been the difference in this one. Eagles 21-17 over the Chiefs there. But with that, that is about all I have for this one. Like we were talking earlier, check out the Badgers tonight. They're going to be taking on SMU there. That should be a pretty good matchup. Also, I believe Marquette will be in action. I'm not sure on a time for that one. Marquette will be in action, though, in the Maui Invitational. Also, Bucks in action tonight against the Celtics. So, should be a pretty good night of basketball there if you are just kicking back. Just kick back and check out some pretty good basketball there. Hopefully, the Badgers pull off a big win there in the Fort Myers Classic. But with that, this has been Wisconsin Sports on the Go with Trade. Thank you guys for listening. We'll catch you guys back here tomorrow. But until then, deuces.